Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here. Don't forget to subscribe. And today, I'm talking about the younger generations in society. We're going to focus on the United States, but they're unplugging. I think that's awesome. I am so excited for this. This is good. This is long overdue. And Study Finds had a really good write up on this from some research. But if you didn't know, half of Americans now deliberately spend less time on screens, and that's a choice, and it's paying off. Now, people who create screen free windows in their day are saying that they feel more productive, more present with loved ones, and are more aware of what's happening around them. But here's the kicker of the whole thing: 70% of the time spent online actually leaves people feeling disconnected and lonely rather than connected to others. And yes, this is something I've been talking about for years with social media. It's been depressing us. It's been alienating us. It's been isolating us. This is a huge issue. And I'm hoping that the younger generations are finally starting to see this and shifting that course. Gen Z is amazingly driving this shift because despite growing up with smartphones basically being extensions of who they are, 63% of them are now intentionally unplugging. That's the highest rate of any generation. Millennials are next at 57%, then Gen X at 42, and the boomers are only at 29%. Now, the actual digital natives appear to be the first to recognize what all that time online is costing them. Now, as a Gen X, I unplug intentionally quite a bit. In fact, I'm usually not on my phone. I might be in front of computers for work and all this kind of stuff, but outside of, let's say, like reading news, I don't spend that much time on social media. You may follow me on social media, but you'll note I usually post just my daily video and podcast, something funny, once a day, and that's about it. I'm not really interacting, and quite frankly, I think I'm healthier for it. Now, this survey data is coming from Talker Research, and it essentially is revealing what happens when screens dominate. 25% of people feel overwhelmed, 22% feel anxious, 18% get irritable, and 19% just end up being simply dissatisfied with their lives. And yeah, I mean, think about all the negativity there, right? Just online. And those negative emotions build and they gradually build and build and build until essentially the device that is basically supposed to be providing relief becomes the source of stress. In other words, you think you're disconnecting from reality by going online and playing something, but going online is actually making it worse. Now, more than half of Gen Z, 54%, and 43% of millennials now set aside dedicated offline periods every single day. Now, compare that with 33 or one third of Gen X, I'd be in that one third, and 22% of boomers. Now, that intentional boundary setting marks a big shift from passive consumption to an active choice when devices get attention, right? And so you're basically choosing when to look at anything and when to interact. And the rest of the time, you're just in the real world. And so when Americans step away from screens, they're picking up physical objects that are creating natural boundaries. So the survey shows that writing notes in notebooks, tops the list at 32%, followed by reading printed books at 31%. Paper calendars are looking like 28% of the youth adopting them, and board games and puzzles are attracting 27%. Now, physical alarm clocks, and those are chosen specifically to keep phones out of bedrooms, are also hitting at 27% as well. Nearly a quarter of people, 23%, have returned to writing paper letters. And that's really interesting. I do write on paper on occasion, but I don't write paper letters. That's an interesting one. 20% use paper planners. I used paper planners for years, only to realize the efficiency that you can have with like online platforms, especially for time tracking, all these kinds of things. It takes a lot of the work out of there. But paper planners are something that has been an age-old thing. Right? We lived well, before the internet on paper planners. Now, 17% wear wristwatches, like mechanical or digital wristwatches for timekeeping instead of checking phones. And that includes smartwatches as well. So, and for the record, yeah, I wear a mechanical clock. I wear a mechanical wristwatch. I'm not wearing one now, but I don't wear smartwatches. That's one part cybersecurity, but the other part, I just like mechanical things. Now, records or CDs, basically, and also dedicated cameras, meaning the old school camera that isn't a phone, those basically are drawing 17%, records and CDs are, and 12% for cameras as well. Now, these aren't random nostalgic choices, but think about it this way: the notebook doesn't send us notifications. The board game doesn't autoplay, the next episode, right? A watch tells time without basically constantly hitting us with text messages, app alerts, all these different kinds of things. So we're constantly checking our wrist. Physical objects force pauses that screens eliminate. And this is the best part of this whole thing, in my opinion. Two-thirds of America plan on living and embracing a slow living pattern in 2026. This is a mindful approach that prioritizes quality over speed. So 71% of Gen Z and 70% of millennials are leading here too, though the philosophy is spreading across all generations. So, when people went offline, they chose reading 32% of the time. 51% of the time, they wanted to have face to face interactions with friends and family. That's amazing. I wish that number was higher. Hands on hobbies rank at 31%, outdoors activities at 41%. And then more than three quarters, 77%, say that as they've aged, they've realized how much the real world matters compared to the online one. And yes, think about all the cancel culture and all the negativity and all of that. I did one of these videos and podcasts essentially talking about Elon Musk, and I was interviewing one of his competitors that didn't think Elon Musk's driving car, like the self driving car, was ready at the time. And for almost a month online, especially on Twitter or AKA X, I was called like the stupidest man on the internet, just slammed with a lot of like hate and anger simply for having a conversation on something that I didn't know much about, but I wanted to get an expert on to talk about. Now, these are the kinds of things that we are seeing, and if you take that to heart, it drags you down. Now, think about what the Gen Z and especially the younger millennials really didn't have, and that is that ability to go take risks, go outside, disappear for a while. Like in the 80s, our parents had no idea when we were outside, playing or doing whatever. We knew we'd come back in the evening and all of that, but we were able to take risks. We were able to interact. We were able to socialize in a way that, quite frankly, the older generation, starting in about the late 90s or so, didn't have. Stranger danger basically became a very pervasive thing. And parents just assumed, there was some kind of kidnapper on every corner in every van, when quite frankly, the kidnappers and the predators went online as we went online. So I think this is a good shift. I think this is something that quite frankly is long overdue. And I welcome it. I welcome it. I welcome it. I welcome it. I think social media has been one of the destructions of society. And quite frankly, if we are unplugging specifically from that and that alone, we are doing the world a much better service. And I understand that a lot of you are watching or listening to this on your preferred social media platform, but take some time out. Go do something. I'd rather you not watch or listen to this and you go do something hands-on. You can listen to this later or go find me on YouTube or whatever, which is a lot less interactive social media wise. But the point is that this is a good movement, and with the world being what it is today, and for a lot of people it is incredibly chaotic right now. Unplugging and just taking time to do something hands on is one of the best things I think everybody can do. And I think everybody should, myself included. So, with that, I'll get off my soapbox, but that is your news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at Nick AESP, but not all the time. You do need to take time, including from YouTube as well, where you should subscribe. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please, please, please attempt to stay private, informed, online, and engaged. Just engaged. Take care.